Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to CITVADELUM. If you're a fan of these kind of games and a fan of this channel, I ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to jump right into CITVADELUM, and I think the best way to look at this game is to do a straight-up Let's Play gameplay video. Now, it starts off as the rise of the Roman Empire, and it's still sort of teaching you how to progress through the game. As you continue through, of course, you get closer and closer to the end of the Roman Empire, or more like the end of the Roman Republic. And into additional scenarios. Now, most of the scenarios you actually need to download from the community. We are going to get additional scenarios just from this one as well. But this is just to give you guys kind of an idea. And if you want, you could just go ahead and play the sandbox. You don't have to play the entire mission. It's completely up to you. There's also a very robust game editing system, which allows you to create your own maps if that's something you enjoy doing. Now, I wanted to do the Make Haste Slowly, which is after reaching peace with Marcus Antoninus of the Treaty of Brundisium, Gaius Octavius turned his attention to Sicily. The island had been occupied by Sextus Pompeius, who had rebelled against the Triumvirate, along with a group of senators. Everybody knows this story, the rise of Augustus. So let's jump in there and have some fun. So, of course, we are supposed to, well, improve Sicily, as it were. The first thing we need to do is build a forum. The forum in this game is kind of the center of your settlement, and I'm just looking around at where I want to build it. I'm seeing some decent mining locations over here, so I think I'm going to put the forum right there. It's also quite close to the water, so I'm hoping that this is going to improve our chances. Again, we want to get a basic road started here, and guys, we'll soon see what the game has to offer. It really reminds me of Caesar, the Caesar series, for those of you that haven't yet played it. So first of all, we want to build an area for our plebs. Plebeian housing is what it's called, of course. Get the plebs comfortable and ready to work on the small-time stuff while we, of course, increase our resources overall. The game also has a robust trading system and a robust fire system, believe it or not. So I want to make sure that we have a fire station here, and to have a fire station, we've got to have well access. Of course, since we're so close to the river, it's probably going to behoove us to build an aqueduct over to our new city, but I'm just kind of showing you guys what the game has to offer. So, of course, the goal right now is to actually increase the prestige level. That's going to take some time. It's not an immediate thing that occurs in this city, but I hope this gameplay video gives you an idea of kind of, you know, what to expect, how things progress type deal. Going to build a nice little road heading this way, and eventually we will get patrician housing, but for now that'll have to do. I'll also put an engineer's post here, and as you can see, we're not bringing in any denarii right now, and that's because we can't actually tax the plebs. That's right, the plebs are too poor, just like us real-life plebs. There's nothing that we can really do about it, but we do want to get some additional plebs and eventually get a warehouse as well as a marketplace for them to sell their wares. So I'm actually going to put a market right here. And let's also get that storage facility. Is it over here? Especially we do have a granary, but for the storage facility, we're going to have to wait a bit. We're going to have to think about food very soon, but things take a while in the old Roman Empire. Actually, they take as long as you let them take. In fact, I might even jump forward a bit here just to give you guys a more detailed view of the city. Let's do that. And if you do want to see a future Let's Play video where we actually like play through an entire city start to finish, let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to cut out the fat and hopefully just show you guys the interesting parts here. First of all, before I let you go, for now, I do want to get that market up and running. A warehouse, that's what I was looking for as well. Now, we don't currently have any goods that would actually necessitate a warehouse, but we're going to start building them. So we're going to get some food going. It'll also give our people jobs. Now, there is an exploration element of the game I thought I should mention, which definitely makes it different from the other games I've played. But, you know, often you're sent to explore new regions, and you can actually see this unlocking this new region. Over time, you could build new cities there, or you could find additional cities to trade with. You could see we've got all of these different gods as well. So there's different temples that you could dedicate to different gods in the game. Obviously, religion being quite an important part of it. But while that's all going on, you want to be unlocking those additional cities. And over time, you can take a look there at the entire pantheon of the gods. See how the gods see you, essentially. So I think that's just a really cool addition to the game that I don't recall in previous versions of the game, at least not being able to see the pantheon of the gods. But currently, we're not in the gods' favor either way. We need to increase what we've got going over here. We just unlocked Prestige level 2. Now we're going to be wanting to get additional food stores. We've got a bunch of wheat fields over here. We built an iron mine, a stone mine, and believe it or not, you can like look into these buildings. Sometimes you see things you don't want to see, like plebs going to the bathroom. Yes, it's a thing. Now, of course, I'm just going to have to think of other ways to improve my current situation. Getting a sawmill, I think, is going to be quite important. We want to turn that lumber into proper usable wood. Maybe we'll get a stone cutter to, of course, improve this business over here. But as you can imagine, you're just trying to look for ways to leverage your resources, your population, etc., to build a more proficient area. Now, something we really need to do, guys, is get our patrician, housing in order. And I've already built a market over here preparing for these patricians. But something very interesting is going to occur once we get them, and that is we're going to go bankrupt. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to actually build our first tax office, and you got to love this. I mean, come on, the empire needs to be paid, and this tax office is what's going to keep us in business. So let's make it happen. I'm also going to increase patrician housing out this way, and I think, you know, we don't want to be too evil to our patricians. After all, they pay our bills. They're sort of the wealthy of our area. We're going to have to go ahead and get another fire station. That's right. Make sure they stay alive, at least for now. If they start turning on us, we can have a different discussion. Now, obviously, to increase the prestige level of the cities, you do need to increase the things you offer, the services you offer. And quite a lot of these services, especially acting school, gladiator school, etc., require you to unlock even more prestige levels. So we're going to jump even farther into the future of our city. But I just want to show you guys like how you grow from a fledgling nothing city into something pretty decent. And again, since we're following the actual scenarios, this is not even custom. So if you start your own custom city, you can keep on going and going and going. And even at the end of the missions, you can continue to play on the map you've been given. So as you can see, different things can occur. In this case, we actually found a relic, a bundle of fasces, and we need to decide what god we want to be pleased with us. And I'm thinking since we're a fledgling culture, we want the king himself, Jupiter, to have our favor. But each of the gods will, of course, bestow different favors upon you. Overall, though, your people will appreciate having that support of a particular god. So it's definitely something to think about. We also have the city of Taizai here, and as you can see, we can sell to Taizai, and we can also buy from Taizai. But you can see there are specific things we can buy and sell. Now, I'd like some bread, and I'd like some gladii as well. So let's do that. But we also want to sell a little bit of our own stone, which, by the way, we are mining to make iron. That's right. When you see this little indicator, it's a bad sign. Lets people know that people are leaving our city because they don't have enough jobs available. So we need to get them as many jobs as possible. And why not go ahead and get a temple to Jupiter? Look at how absolutely massive this thing is. I wanted to build it over here so that it kind of encompasses both areas, both the patrician and the plebeian. So let's see if that works. I hope it does. That should take up quite a few jobs, but there's other forms of entertainment we could pursue as well. We also want to make sure we have the food that these people are looking for. Like, for instance, I built some grape orchards over here. I also built a winery, and the people over here are already suffering from lack of food, and that's because patricians mostly eat cabbage and melons. Don't ask me why, but that's the thing with them. So we've got a cabbage orchard. I think we've got one melon orchard. Let's get yet another one. But this is the kind of thing you need to, of course, think about, including fishing docks, there's going to be a whole bunch of classes that are created in your little city. And as you can see, we're gaining the favor of Jupiter. All right. And we can use them to increase the favor of our people. So we're using Jupiter. Probably not something I'd recommend doing. Okay, and we've also discovered yet a new territory, guys. You want to keep that exploration going. Make sure that you find new trading partners, potentially new relics. There's all sorts of things you could locate, of course. And also take a look at that denarii per day. That kind of lets you know maybe you should bring in some more patricians, some more tax-paying citizens. Oh, that's right, a bakery. We got these wheat fields for a reason. Let's get a bakery up and running. Whatever keeps our people happy, whatever gets more jobs into the city, of course. We've already got that winery. I wouldn't mind getting a fishmonger, but that's going to require us to start developing this part of the city. Again, it's whatever you want to go for. Over time, war will become an issue. You'll want to build, of course, barracks, an infantry training station, a recruits barracks. You start off, obviously, with militia recruits, but this is quite normal in a small Italian town, or Roman town at the time, of course, is, just starting off very, very small and improving over time. That's exactly what we're doing in our wonderful town right here. Are they still lacking food? They are, and we may need to build another market a little bit closer. But I'm thinking for now, we'll just get another melon orchard. We've got so many melons at this point, I don't know what to do with them. I love to see people moving to and from work as well, and at least we've been bringing in a decent amount of tax income from this building. Also, if we want, we can get a proper look at the Temple of Jupiter. And look at that, man. People inside actually worshiping. Reminds me of the game Populous, but this is why I said this reminds me so much of Rome, or excuse me, Caesar. It really does. It reminds me of the game Caesar, which I used to play a ton as a younger guy. Now, of course, you want to keep your people healthy, and for that, we are going to need, yes, you guessed it, a doctor. So it's actually a good way to also retain additional population, but we're going to need to get the medicinal herbs necessary to keep it running. We already have a tavern, which of course people are going to be very, very happy with, but we need medicinal herbs, not hops or barley, to actually run a proper doctor station. So I am going to put some medicinal herb farm right there. And right here too. We might need an additional granary just to keep this going. As you can see, we've just got one granary, but one thing we can do in this game, which I love, is increase the workers at our granary facility. So 3 will go out at once to try and collect the necessary herbs instead of just 1. And you can do this with jobs all throughout your city. And that is, get more workers to work them. It's really that simple. I think we've got quite a few. Oh, what's going on? There's been a murder. So guys, a murder becomes an issue, and that's when we need to start raising or improving the police force. Unfortunately, we just started this city, so we're going to need to wait to get to the next prestige level to even get a police force. Quite the quandary indeed, to say the least. Now, as you can see, as you unlock new levels of a town's, level, but more importantly, as you unlock more plebs and patricians, they allow you to build more buildings. And what we're really trying to do in this scenario here in Sicily is to get that armor running. We've already got our stone cutters, and we have people that desperately need jobs. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get that armor workshop going. But what else are we going to have to do after we get armor? Probably going to have to get some soldiers. And that's going to take an entirely different focus, which is going to be the armory. But for now, let's keep things simple. I just wanted to show you that element of it. We could obviously get the swords from our trade partner, but I actually cut them out of the deal because I'm trying to get us more money. And we are paying a lot in workers' wages, as you can see. We're not making a lot in exports. We could improve that with certain cities and get the economy back on track. Because, as you can imagine, the economy is a big deal in this game. And I mean a really, really big deal. Might also need to get another tax office because we are expanding our patrician zone. And actually, another thing I might do is just get more tax workers. Why didn't I think of this before? But look at that, another relic. My goodness. So either the Operator's Plow to Apollo or to Ceres to improve food production. We kind of... I'm sorry, we're going to have to side with Apollo, but look at that, guys. We've got an enemy army, and to be able to face it, you guessed it, we're going to have to build up to it. The game has included everything in it, including firefighting, by the way, which we're about to see that happen, hopefully, very soon. But it's included everything in it, and you need to, make your people happy, of course. Keep them coming back for more, as it were. And yeah, it's right in front of a fire station. They will deal with that. If not, somebody's getting fired. It's that simple. There we go. He's filling up the bucket. I just love the level of detail. And he's going to head out and start putting that fire out. Fantastic. But we've got to increase that population and that tax rate. There we go. Now I'm a happy man. The tax collector will be able to go there and get us some much needed money. Let's quickly go to the world map and just see if anybody wants to buy. So we can increase our sales of stone. I don't want to buy any swords or anything like that. There's also a way of selling olive oil. But to be able to sell olive oil, we need to have an olive grove, etc., etc. So for now, we're going to recall our actual soldier, our scout in this case. And as you can see, just like deploying our scout, we can deploy our entire army as we build it. In this case, he's simply an explorer. So we're simply going to deploy him to these regions and see if we can't find out more. Although I think we're cut off since there's a mountain range here, which makes this quite difficult. Now, not all citizens are equal, and some like to, have useless jobs, like my job, being an actor. So you got to get an acting school, of course. And the great thing about the acting school, it gives jobs to your people, but over time, you're going to want to get a theater. And as you can see, this needs to cover as much square space as possible to include every single one of your citizens. Hopefully something like this will work. But again, this is kind of way out of the way. Maybe we want to put it somewhere like right there. And this way, everybody can come and check out your wonderful actors. And of course, it improves the overall, not just the citizenry's, happiness level, but certain areas in this game. If you played Caesar, you've seen this before. They need to be beautified. If they're not beautified, if you don't increase, zone desirability, then problems will occur. So by putting that there, we're actually increasing the zone desirability a little bit. I'm actually going to get a nice arch right here to improve their desirability. But over time, you can really improve these areas. And that's why I leave these open spaces in many cases. You want to really be able to beautify the area. Look at that. Beautiful Montberos near the acting school. Now we just need to collect these nice folks' money with my favorite building of all, and yours as well, a tax office. But for that, we're going to have to wait to get a little bit more wood. That's okay. Patience is a virtue. And while we're at it, if we want, number one, we need to get another, not another sawmill. We need to get another logging camp. But another thing I can do is just add additional workers. While we're at it, though, I think I'm going to go ahead and build another one because that logging camp is soon going to become kind of useless. And we're just simply not going to be able to do much with it. So let's put one right over here. We'll, of course, have to get a warehouse for it. That's okay. That is what we're here for. Oh, we can get a Grammaticus, guys. So this, of course, would educate our citizens. They would quite like that. Once again, just like the theater, I'm sure this has to be placed perfectly. And I'm just hoping this is perfect enough. There's the Grammaticus. We're a learned society now, my friends. Well, at least we're getting there. Easier said than done. It's a tough task. We're still waiting for income, as you can see. And we might need to lower some workers' wages, honestly. There's been one theft, but so far we haven't had any serious problems military-wise. However, getting a recruit's barracks and maybe just a nice guard training school might not be such a bad idea. And these will become guards for our city. So I'm going to put the new guard training school over here, kind of in the middle of nowhere. And we can go ahead and queue up, guys, some guards for training. We want to make sure to have recruits available for training. And for that, we are likely going to have to get a recruits barracks as well. So now we're finally going into the military age with our city. But this brings up new challenges, of course. I like to see that guard standing guard, though. At least we've got somebody watching over the city with all of these recent thefts. Looks like we can't buy the arrows they want. We can buy more swords, but we're already producing them. So for now, I think I'm just going to hope for the best. Now, this is an interesting part of the game. We can call down the god Jupiter, and I guess he's going to sort of bless different buildings and improve the score, improve the relations with the people. It's just kind of an interesting part of the game, and I think you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Look at that, Jupiter just jumping around the place, blessing it as best he can. And of course, the people see him and they're enjoying him. However, in the meantime, I've gotten a temple to Pluto. Yes, god of the underworld. But here's why. It's because if you don't support sufficient gods, people, particularly your patricians, your more educated people, will start leaving. They want a plethora of gods to choose from. So you need to keep on building these additional buildings. Now, in the meantime, we have been building our army up. I'm just hoping that it's enough for the final fight here. In fact, I'm going to train some additional soldiers. And we'll do the same with some guards. But anybody willing or interested in joining the army is heading over here to the recruits barracks to get armed up. And look at that. Do we have another god supporting us? We do, the god of war, Mars. So again, this might be a part that you're either going to love or you're going to hate. I think it's a pretty cool feature. And what happens is Mars is upset that we haven't been worshiping him. So he just destroyed our infantry barracks. We're currently getting additional shields to outfit it. But this is the kind of shenanigans you can expect from the gods. And actually, I'm going to go to our shield maker. We're going to make sure we got a lot of shield makers working there. But you can see the city is massive at this point, and it's still considered like a small town. It's not really considered anything special at this particular juncture. We don't want Apollo mad at us, so let's get that built as well. You can imagine it costs a lot of gold, but I think it's absolutely worth it. We may even try expanding our city out this way, or maybe towards the coastline, get some more of those plebs in line. Who knows? Oh boy, we just got the damn enemy attacking us. I am going to try and use the warriors I have here. I'm going to deploy the Legion. And again, I've never done this before, so this is kind of just a first time winging it sort of thing. We only have 13 men, and then I'm going to go into the city, and I am going to recall the Legion. Or maybe? No, we don't want them to return to camp on the outskirts of the city. I know there's a way to call them inside the city itself, and we need them. Right now, we just have our guards, essentially. So let's see if in the city that changes anything. Because, yeah, the city is under attack. And these barbarians, they'll go pretty crazy before they decide to call off this attack. And I'm certain I've done this before. And again, grab. No, it's not reinforce, and it's not recall either, because that'll bring them back here. And we don't want that. CN map. So that's interesting. That might be something we need to do later, but I'm certain we're missing a step here. Because I've done this before. Got another idea, which is... No. Now, I do want you guys to see the attack one way or the other, but there's usually a way to call our Legion right there within the city. And again, I'm new to the game, so I'm definitely missing a little bit here. But here we go. They're going to go straight for our town hall, our forum, really. And so obviously our guards are going to have to try and step up and stop that attack. It'd be a lot cooler with our centurions, though. But there we go. And hopefully they can cut down all of these Gauls. It's looking pretty good so far. And actually, these wouldn't be Gauls. These would be Sicilians. Maybe it's only your guards that are able to defend in these attacks. And maybe your army is for offensive purposes. It's actually getting me to think about that. That might be it. And there's even a little bit of blood, which I think is just a nice touch. Obviously, really, really cool. We actually did manage to fight the enemy off. But of course, the degradation to other buildings has happened. Thankfully, the enemy didn't mess with too many buildings. But this is a big town, and it needs to grow bigger. And to do that, it's going to take a whole lot more work. I'm going to be honest with you. We did manage to, as you can see, though, kill 10 enemies. An enemy raid report, and that's not a battle. Let me be clear. A battle's quite different. That involves our entire army, but I wanted to show you guys just an example there of some combat. Hope you guys are enjoying, and if you want to see more of this series, make sure to let me know in the comments down below by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And thank you so much for coming this far with us. Let's hope we can win the gods' favor this time. It was a tough one, and we're actually going to do a little festival celebration for our people, which, by the way, very important part of the game. Otherwise, the gods, as you've seen before, will begin to attack us. Take care, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.